Yeah, guys. So what we will discuss today, we will discuss how to install the Docker in Amazon Linux 2. Okay. So how to install the Docker in Amazon Linux 2 mission. Okay. So what we need, so we need to install the Docker. So we need to install the Docker. What this is? This is a VM or a instance. VM or a instance. So install the which OS guys? Install the So install the Amazon Linux too. I already told you, right, guys? What are the same versions? Red Hat, CentOS, Fedora, Oracle Linux, Oracle Linux, Amazon Linux too. So these all are same, guys. These all are same. It's a copy from Red Hat only. So so if you want to run any command on this any Linux, it will be a same. Okay. And so what we need, if you want to run the container on your machine, if you want to run the container on your machine, definitely we need to run the Docker service. What is Docker? Docker service. So what is the Docker service? The Docker service is systemctl mm, start Docker. Right. So this is the service we need to run if you want to run the container. Okay, we need to run this service. We need to run this service if you want to run the Docker containers, right? This is the Docker service we need to run if you want to run the Docker container. Okay. So for example, this is the Docker, this is the Docker, this is the Docker containers are running on this Amazon Linux too. So what we need, guys, for installing these Docker service, so you need to use install Docker. -y is nothing but without asking the permission, right? Once you install it, you can just start the Docker. So we need a Docker service. So if the Docker service is stopped, the container will not run, guys. Make sure the Docker service is running at any time. Okay. How you can install, guys? You can install by using these commands. Okay, you see, install Docker, start as Docker, start Docker, then add EC2 user to the Docker group by executing the below commands. Because of if you want to run the any commands on the Docker, any commands on the that mission by using a EC2 user, right? So how you can run these commands? You can run these commands by using systemctl as a root user, right? If you want to execute the all the commands as a EC2 user, we need to add this group in the Docker group. Okay, yes, understood. So what is the commands? Yeah. So I created a one VM that is a Docker server and this is running, guys. Okay. So how to connect this server? You can connect this server by using public DNS or public IP. What is the batch 54? Yes. Yeah, I will connect this server. I will connect this server through putty. Appearance, change settings, bold, 18, okay. SSH, auth, credentials, browse. Bash 54 is the public key. Open, accept. EC2 hyphen user. Okay. So how you can install the Docker? How you can install, guys? How you can install the Docker? You can install the Docker using sudo update hyphen y. Update hyphen y is nothing but so it will install the packages, the update the packages. Python is installed. So what is the service? What is the service you need to install, guys? Sudo yum install docker hyphen y. Hyphen y is nothing but without asking the pass, without asking yes or no, guys. Okay. Docker is installed. Sudo systemctl status docker. Docker container is not running. You can run the start status. Yeah, now it is running. Okay, so Docker is installed and Docker service is running. Guys. Next, add a user to the Docker group by executing the below command. What is the command? Sudo user mode hyphen a small ag docker ec2 hyphen user. If it is a root, no need to add that into the group, guys. Okay. Duplicate session. Exit. EC2 iPhone user. Systemctl status docker. Okay. So it is running now. So once you check the docker info. Okay. Docker info. You see? So version 25.0 0.8 is installed, right? This is the Docker info, guys. This is the Docker info. Okay. Duplicate session. EC2 Icon user. This is okay. Yeah, Docker info. Docker images. There is no Docker images. So there is no Docker images. Right. So pulling the hello world Docker image, or you can pull the Docker image. Docker pull hello world. Yeah, it's pulled from the hello world. How it pull from where it pull from hello world? It pull from the Docker Docker hub, guys. It's pulled from the Docker hub. Okay. So this is the Docker hub. Yesterday I already told you, right? Yeah. You see? So this is the registry. This is the registry. So you can pull the if you want to push or pull the Docker images to this registry. Okay. So you are pulling from the Docker Hub registry. Where is the Docker Hub registry? This is the Docker Hub registry. This is the Docker Hub registry. This is the same like as a GitHub. So in the GitHub, what we are uploading the code, right? But in the Docker Hub, we are uploading or we are downloading the Docker images. These all are the Docker images. Understood? You see, hello world Docker image. We are downloading this Docker image. How you can download this? You see, Docker pull hello world. Once you pull the Docker, it will download it from here to the server. Guys, understood? Guys, understood? Yeah. So there is a one registry. So this is the one hub Docker hub or Docker registry. So in this registry we have a image. For example, so this is the image, guys, or else. So this is a image. So we have a two types of repositories here also. So one is private and other one is public. So in the public there is a hello world. This is the a Docker image. So we are pulling this Docker image from here to here. So here to here by using which command, guys? Docker pull hello world. So you created your own Docker image and want to push that image to Docker Hub. So you want to push that image to Docker Hub. How we can push it? So so this is our image. Okay. So what is the command? Docker push. For example, right now 857 image, my image. Okay. So you are pushing this image to this is nothing but a pull. So this is nothing but a push. You are pushing the Docker image to guys. Understood? Guys, understood? Satish, Ravish,
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
Meghna, Siri. Yes, right. So I will tell you how to sign up that Docker Hub. So as of now, I'm just pulling the Docker images, just a hello world Docker image, and I will run that Docker image. Okay. Yeah. So how to check the Docker images, guys? Shi- EC2 on user. Okay. Docker images. You check. So before there is nothing is there now. So we have a one Docker image. That is the Docker hello world Docker image. Okay. So how you can run this as a container? What this? This is a image. So this is a okay. So this is the Docker image. So you are pulling from the Docker Hub, right? So from the Docker Hub, how you can run as a container? How you can run as a container by using the run command, Docker run command. So we can run as a container. Image, from the image we need to run as a container. So you can use the Docker run command. You can run the Docker run command. It is Yeah. So you see, so from the Docker image, so we need to run as a container. How you can run it? By using Docker run command. Okay. So Docker run command. What is that? Docker run hello world. You see, guys. So hello from Docker. This message shows that your installation appears to be working correctly. Okay, your installation appears to be working correctly. To generate this message, Docker took the following steps. Docker client contacted with the Docker daemon. The Docker daemon pulled the Docker Hello World image from the Docker Hub. The Docker daemon created a new content from the image, which runs the executable that produces the output of your currently reading. Okay, the Docker daemon streamed that output of the Docker client, which sent it to the your terminal. So to try to something more ambitious, you can run the Ubuntu container with so Docker run -it Ubuntu bash. Okay. So share images, automate workflows, and more with the free Docker ID. So this is the Docker Hub. Okay. So if you want for more examples and ideas, visit so docker.com. Okay, docs.docker.com.
Where is this Docker daemon located?
Where is this?
Docker daemon. So the Docker,
Docker daemon is nothing but a service. System
okay,
CTL, status, Docker. So daemon is nothing but a service.
okay,
Okay,
okay.
understood?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
bro.
If you want to run if you want to pull and run a Ubuntu, let's so Docker run means it will pull the Ubuntu. So before, if you want to pull the image, what you did, Docker pull Ubuntu, right? Now what you are doing, so you are doing the run. Running means container. First, you need to download the Ubuntu image, then it will start the as a container. Let's see. Okay, Docker images. Sorry. Yeah. So this is, you see, guys, IT is nothing but a integrated terminal. You are directly log into this Docker container. Docker container. If you want to exit, you can exit. So now Docker image, Docker images. Yeah, we have a two images, Docker images. So how you can check the Docker container is running or not? Docker ps-a. Docker ps-a. You see, hello world. 2 minutes ago, 1 second. Yeah, guys. So right, but the status you seeing exited. So right, so it is not running. I will tell you. No worries, guys. Okay. How you can check it? Docker PS. So Docker PS is nothing but a processes. So here not showing because of if it is in running, then only it will show the PS. If you want to see the running, not running also by using sorry PS hyphen, yeah, it will shows the status is running or stopped one also it is showing, not running also it is showing. Okay, so now you understood Docker images. Docker images is nothing but what are the images are running. Yeah, I will download. Yeah, so this is my Docker hub, guys. So in my Docker hub, my hub, so for example, I'm running this 1 month ago, right? Okay, I'm downloading. This is my own images, guys. I pushed the two images. I'm just pulling this image. Docker push, Docker push, right? See on only one latest, right? Yeah. Yeah, guys. This is a installed Tomcat, and we installed the run Catalina. Okay, let's download this one, guys. Docker pull Hare Krishna 87 slash. What is this? Okay. I'm pulling the my own image. Let's see. Yeah. What is that? Docker images. Docker images. How many we have? I have one Docker image. Okay. Docker run hyphen d hyphen name equal to app one hyphen p port, guys, 8080 colon 8080. Okay. So what is this name? The name is this one. Okay. Yeah. So Docker yes hyphen a yes hyphen a You see, guys, this is up. This is up. 11 seconds ago, the status is from last 10 seconds. It is running. Let's see what is the public IP, guys. Is the public IP address http colon double slash IP address 8080 slash lab 668. You see, guys, the website is lab 6A. So if you click the input parameters, yeah, it is asking age, spectacles, no. Yeah, you see, we have a three pages. We have a three pages here. So one is input parameters. Then, so we'll provide the attributes values. So if you provide the attribute values, right, we'll get the results. So this is the Tomcat website. Tomcat website having a three pages, guys. So before we deployed as a this one, we deployed in the EC2 instance, installed the Tomcat and deployed it. Right now we run as a container. Now we run as a container. Guys, understood? So we run as a container, port number 8080. Okay. Port number 8080. We run as a container. Now it is working fine. Guys, understood? Yeah. So yeah, I will. So what is that? Docker command. Docker command. So what are the Docker commands, guys? The Docker commands are see Docker info. How to see the Docker info, guys? You can see the Docker info by using Docker info command. So what is the next command? To see Docker images. How you can see the Docker images? You can see the Docker images by using Docker images command. So next command is pulling hello world Docker image. Pulling hello world Docker image. Yes, Docker pull hello world. Okay, hello world. We are pulling it from the pulling it from the Docker Hub registry. Docker Hub registry. Right. So next is see Docker images. So how to see the Docker images? Docker images. Docker images. Next, running hello world Docker image. How to run that hello world Docker image? So what is the command? Docker run hello world. Docker run hello world is the Docker run command. Next, next we can validate the display running Docker containers. So how to display the running Docker containers? Docker yes. It will show only it will show only running containers, not s- s- stopped one, not a stopped one. If you want to see displaying displaying the running displaying the running place stopped containers, or you can see You can see it by using docker ps-a. So docker ps-a. So how to inspect the docker, guys? Inspect docker image. How to inspect the docker image? You can use docker inspect image id. Image id. So what is the next one, guys? Remove docker images. Now you can remove the docker images by using docker rmi. What is that? Docker rmi image name, or image id. We can delete. You can delete the images by using docker rmi remove images. So remove images, image name or image id. So the next one is, so what is the next one, guys? So remove docker image forcefully. How you can remove the docker image forcefully? Docker image forcefully. So what is that? Just hyphen f hyphen f docker image forcefully. So how to remove the containers? How to stop the Docker container. How to stop the Docker containers, guys? So, Docker stop container ID. So what is that? So container ID. Next, remove remove Docker container. How to remove the Docker container, guys? Docker rm container ID. What is that? So container ID, it will remove the Docker container. So remove Docker container forcefully by using docker rm-f container id. Okay, so container id. Okay, so remove. I don't want to run all these commands. I want to remove everything. Remove all stopped containers plus unused containers, unused images plus unused unused networks. Okay, so the command is docker system prune hyphen a. It will delete everything else. So it will delete everything. Guys, understood? So these are the commands, guys. So docker info, docker images. You will see the docker images. So docker pull hello world. It will pulling from the docker hub registry. See the docker images. How you can see it? Docker images. So running the hello world docker image. How to run the docker image as a container? How to run image as a container. Image as a container. You can run hello docker run hello world. Displaying running docker containers. It will show only the running containers, not stopped one. So docker ps. So if you want to show both stopped and running, you can use docker ps hyphen a. Inspect the docker image. You will inspect the docker image. Remove docker images. Docker rmi image. So remove the docker image forcefully. Stop the docker container. Remove the docker container. So remove the docker container forcefully. Docker system. Yeah. So I will show you, guys. Okay. So what is that? You already know? Yeah, shit. Duplicate session. So there is a timeout, guys. Tomorrow I will remove that time user. Okay. So Docker images. It will list the Docker images. I want to remove the Docker image. What is the command, guys? Docker RMI. I want to remove. You can take the image ID or a image name. I want to. So I am taking the image ID of the Ubuntu. So error response from the daemon conflict unable to delete must be forced. Image is being used by the stopped container. Okay. So this is the container is running. Let's check Docker PS. Yeah, the container is running. So you want to stop that container. How to stop that container? Docker P Docker stop container ID. What is the Ubuntu, guys? So this is the Ubuntu container. Okay. So container ID. This is the container ID. You see container ID. Okay. You how you can stop the Docker containers by using container ID. Okay. Now let's try. Unable to delete the image is being used with the stopped container. Okay. So Docker RM container ID. Okay. Yeah. Let's try. It is deleted. Yeah. So if you want to run that if you want to remove the Docker images, it must be the Docker need not to run on that one. Docker ps hyphen a. Right. The Docker is not running. Then only you can you can remove, or else you can use the forceful. It will automatically remove. Yes, understood. Next one is Docker. Docker. The first command is you guys can execute the Docker images. Then Docker inspect Docker inspect image ID. For example, I'm inspecting the this one. You see, this is the ID, this is the report busy set. So it is coming from here. This is the tag. This is the tag created when it was created. Right. Yeah. The path, environment path, user local bin, Java is installed. CMD. CMD command will execute while running the container. Okay, opt tomcat bin catalina.sh run. So it will run the tomcat. Okay, yeah. So working directory opt tomcat web apps where you deployed our application. You copied this application into lab6a dot will be in the working directory. Okay, so we took the CentOS base image. So we took the CentOS base image. So this is the metadata, right? So this is the inspector. This is the inspector. Guys, understood? Yeah. Guys,
Yes,
understood
bro.
or not?
Yes, bro. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So Docker. So how to remove the images and how to stop the container? How to remove the containers? Okay. So you want to remove everything. Docker system prune hyphen a. You see, all the stopped containers, all networks not used by the latest one container, all images without latest one container associated with them, all the build caching. Yes. Okay. So it will be reclaimed 10.7 KB. Docker images. You see? So what is the not used stopped one? Everything. This is the running, right? That's the reason it is not removed. Docker es hyphen a. Yeah, it is exited. So right, so what is this 80 80 80 80 means? So the first one is the VM. The first one is the VM. So first one is so from the image you run the Docker. So this is the EC2 VM, right? EC2 instance. So the end user first hit to the EC2 instance. First hit to the EC2 instance, then it will go to the Docker container, right? So we need a two ports to enable to connect with the application. First is the 8080 is the for the VM, and 8080 this 8080 is the container. So -p is nothing but we will provide the host port and the container port. So the first one is the host port, the second one is the container port. Yes, now you understood? So what is the name of the container? App1. So where it comes from? It comes from this image ID. This is the image ID. This is the container ID. Okay. So command opt cat lena. This is the command we are executing while running the container. Okay. 14 minutes ago, status up and running. Is understood? I pushed the other image also. Let's see. Repositories. Etiquette is not better. Okay. Yeah, guys. So, so how to create the Docker Hub account, guys? So, how to create a Docker Hub account? Just so nothing to worry about it. It is just asking the email address. Then it will shows then it will ask the code. So which is sent to the Gmail. So we provided this. Just what is this? Incognito mode. Hub.docker.com. Yeah. So here you use the sign up button.
I
In the
will
sign up button.
in the company, every company has its own Docker Hub account, right?
Mm. So Docker Hub is nothing but it's a Artifactory tool. Artifactory is nothing but your containers. Okay. Good question. Yeah. So some companies are using Docker Hub. Some companies are using other solutions. Right. So what is this? This name call it as a artifact artifactory tool. So artifactory means so what are the solutions that are available in the artifacts? JFrog. What is that? JFrog and Nexus. What is this? So companies are using mostly JFrog or Nexus. My company is using JFrog. Okay.
For what this JFrog and Access are used?
Yeah. That images, whatever the Docker images, right?
Okay, store to
The
store.
Docker image will be stored under the JFrog or Nexus.
Why to store in JFrog and Access? They can store in Docker Hub only, no? Our own Docker Hub. We can create. You just created with your name, right?
Yeah. 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 But
Then
so
what is
this
the difference?
yeah. So this Docker Hub contains the private and public repositories. Okay. This JFrog and Nexus only having the private repositories. Companies are using this JFrog and Nexus, but Docker Hub having the public and private repositories also.
Okay, this JFrog and Access holds only private repositories.
Only
So
private repositories.
so we download images from the Docker Hub and we store those images in the Nexus and JFrog. Right? That's it.
Why we need to use Docker Hub? Directly you can push it to the. So this is also repositories. JFrog also repository. Docker,
Okay.
this is also a repository tool. This is also JNexus also repository tool. What you
But
can do, you can directly push it to the JFrog and pull it to the JFrog.
directly push it to the JFrog and pull it to the local, right?
Pull to the local. So these are also same tools, guys. So how many companies are developed the Linux OSs? So Red Hat, CentOS, Fedora, Oracle, Amazon, Sun Solaris, everyone. So but why you are not using Oracle Linux? Why you are using Red Hat? because of security, flexibility, availability, everything, right? The licensing, everything. So the same like as a Docker Hub. So they have a other registry, other artifactory tools. Those are JFrog and Access. Some companies are using JFrog. Some companies are using Docker Hub. Some companies are using Nexus.
What is this, bro? Podman.
Podman also we can use it.
It is also storage like
Yeah,
Nexus
yeah.
and that one, right? Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. In your company, you're using Podman, huh?
Yeah, I think so because recently I joined one KT session
Mm,
from IBM. I think
mm,
we are using WebSphere MQ.
mm,
So there that guy showed Podman.
mm,
That time I didn't understand what is Podman actually. But one thing I saw
mm,
here we are mentioning the so you are pulling image from the
mm.
repository,
Yes.
Docker Hub repository, and you are running that image to make the container, right?
Yes, yes. No, no,
Okay.
pulling is nothing but
No, you are pulling means you are pulling from the Docker Hub. I mean,
yes, 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 yes.
into your local. So
Yeah.
you pull the image into the local, and you
Mm,
run that image, and that image
mm,
created the container, right?
mm. Yes,
But
yes, yes.
in my office,
Mm,
that IBM guy, instead
mm,
of pulling the image,
mm,
he directly entered the URL in the image
mm,
location while
mm,
running the container. You mentioned that Docker
mm,
run
mm, mm,
FND image ID, right? Image ID.
mm,
So the
mm,
instead of image ID, he mentioned the URL. That
mm.
URL is pointing referencing to the
Yes, 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 yes,
that one,
yes,
right?
yes. That repository.
That repository.
Mm.
So we can use that as well, right? Instead of pulling
Yes,
to the
yes,
local
yes.
and directly we can point it to the
Run as
repository.
a container. Yes, yes, yes.
So so if we run that, right?
Mm,
So my question here is
mm,
you are directly pointing it to the hub
mm,
where that image is present, right?
mm,
So
mm,
then in that case, if we directly use the URL, why we need this Podman or Nexus, then we can bypass them, right? But you can directly use the URL and get it from the hub only, right? Again, why to
mm.
pull it to the local and we have to store into the private repositories like Podman and Nexus? That I
Yeah,
didn't understand.
I
Yeah.
showed you right already. Mm,
Mm,
good question. Okay. So Docker, shit guys. Duplicate session EC2 user history. So Docker run Docker run Ubuntu. Ubuntu. Right. You see, I'm not pulling the images. I just so it will be downloading from the container and it will be running from it will running as a container. Download the image, Ubuntu image, and running as a container. You see. So unable to find the Ubuntu latest locally. If it is
yeah.
not finding, it will directly
Contacts.
contact to the GitHub account. Then it will automatically pull. Then it
GitHub
run
or
as a
Docker Hub or GitHub?
go Docker Hub, Docker Hub.
Docker
So
Hub
there is
only.
no GitHub here.
GitHub.
So instead of
No.
Ubuntu, you will give your path. Okay. HTTPS colon double
Yes.
slash podman or something like it will run it. Understood?
Okay.
So my
Okay.
company also took the URL to download the images. Run as a image. I will show you. I will
Oh,
show you slowly. You will understand.
I understand. Yeah. Okay. Instead, so here we are pointing that instead of by default it contacts since we are running Docker,
Mm.
by default
So
it contacts Docker Hub. So instead of contacting Docker Hub, we are providing the URL and making it to contact this URL instead of Docker Hub.
mm. So how you can connect from this mission to Docker Hub? You can use the Docker login. So then only you will provide the username and password. Then only it will contact with the Docker Hub. Otherwise, you cannot pull and you cannot push. Same like as a GitHub. So how you can clone the GitHub repository from local to remote, remote to local. So you are providing a token or a username and password, right?
Okay.
While
Yeah.
while pushing or downloading, right?
Yes.
The same way, how you can contact with the Docker Hub, you can contact with the Docker Hub by using Docker login. Actually, I'm thinking to tell these things. So yeah. Anyways, tomorrow I will tell you. So
Sure.
how to connect Docker login. So what you guys can do, you guys can just download the sorry, sign up the Docker Hub account. Okay. I will show you JFrog also. No worries, guys. While doing the project. Okay.
Okay, bro. Bro, one more thing.
Mm-hmm.
So in working while working in Kubernetes also,
Mm-hmm.
so that means in every Kubernetes machine we
Mm.
need Docker kind of runtime engine for sure, right? To run the container, because in the Kubernetes we have pods, okay,
Are you able
and
to see my screen, right?
yeah,
One second.
in the pods we have containers.
Mm.
So we have to run the container first. So in order to run the container, we need
Mm.
one container engine, right? Like Docker Hub, sorry, like
Mm.
Docker or container D or something.
Mm. Here you are all able to see, right?
Yeah,
Yes, right. So this is the Docker runtime. Docker
yeah.
runtime is nothing but a Docker service. So
Okay.
if you want to run so here there is a concept called as a pod. Inside the pod, containers are running. Okay. So
అవును.
if you want to run the container, we need to running the service called as a Docker.
అంటే ఇక్కడ డాకర్ మనం డిఫాల్ట్ ఇన్స్టాల్ చేయాల్సిందే ఎవ్రీ వర్కర్ నోడ్ లో, అంతే కదా?
వర్కర్ నోడ్ లో కంపల్సరీ డాక్ అదే నేను చెప్పేది కంటైనర్ ఇఫ్ యూ వాంట్ టు రన్ ఏ కంటైనర్ డెఫినెట్లీ
ఇంజన్, రన్
you
టైమ్
need to
ఇంజన్.
run the Docker daemon. Yeah, the runtime
ఓకే.
engine you need to run.
అయితే ఇక్కడ మన క్యూబర్నెటీస్ ఇన్స్టాల్ చేసినప్పుడు డాకర్ డిఫాల్ట్ వస్తుందా, లేకపోతే మనం?
వస్తది.
ఓకే, రైట్. యా,
So
నౌ ఐ
Docker
అండర్స్టూడ్.
setup. Now you understood, huh?
నవ్ ఐ గాట్ క్లారిటీ. నవ్ ఇప్పుడు నా క్వశ్చన్ ఏముండే అంటే, మనం
Hmm.
ఎందుకు డాకర్, మన యాక్చువల్గా మన గోల్ వచ్చి క్యూబర్నెటీస్ యాక్చువల్గా. కాకపోతే ఎందుకు,
Kubernetes అనేది
అయితే డాకర్ ఎందుకు నేర్చుకోవాలి అనేది నాకు అర్థం అవ్వలేదు, కానీ ఇప్పుడు ఈ రోజు
హ్మ్.
అర్థమైంది.
హ్మ్.
ఎందుకంటే క్యూబర్నెటీస్ లో పార్ట్స్ ఉంటాయి, పార్ట్స్ లోపల కంటైనర్స్ ఉంటాయి కదా. ఆ
యెస్.
కంటైనర్స్ ని ఆ కంటైనర్ కి
రన్
ఇమేజ్
చేయాలి అంటే
అంటే డాకర్ కావాలి.
క్రియేట్
దట్స్ వై వి
చేయాలి
నీడ్.
అన్నా రన్ చేయాలి అదే. అదే.
యా, నౌ ఐ అండర్స్టూడ్ వై వి నీడ్ డాకర్. యా,
హ్మ్.
సూపర్.
I will tell you the setup. Where is that? Yeah. I will show you, no worries. I will show you the create case step by step how to install the Kubernetes. Okay.
ఓకే బ్రో. బట్ సారీ ఫర్ పుట్టింగ్ లాట్ ఆఫ్ క్వశ్చన్స్.
No worries, no worries, no worries.
టు అండర్స్టాండింగ్ ద కాన్సెప్ట్
People also
క్లియర్లీ.
understand that. Yeah.
Yeah, to
People also
understand the
understand it.
concept clearly,
Yeah, 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 yeah,
I
yeah.
could.
So you understand, right? Why Docker? Why Kubernetes?
Now I
Kubernetes
got,
is.
clear clarity why we
Hmm,
need Docker.
hmm. So maybe this week or next week you will understand more what is Docker, what is Kubernetes, why Kubernetes. You will understand more. Okay.
Yeah, but Kubernetes we have to go very deep, bro.
Yeah, yeah. You see, so it will take maybe 15 days, 2 weeks. So we
Yeah.
have a lot of topics in the Kubernetes. Okay.
Okay.
Auto scaling, ELK, Helm, everything I will show you.
Yeah.
Blue and green deployments model. What are the deployments model?
Yeah.
So what
Kubernetes
is a
also. Yeah. Let's go real time. As you do,
I will show you.
luckily
I
you
will
work
show
in
you.
Kubernetes.
Mm, 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 mm. So Kubernetes, if you know the Docker, right? Kubernetes is very easy.
Yeah. Okay.
If you know the Docker, Kubernetes is very easy. So before they are using Docker, right? Docker is a company that they created the Docker SAM, but that is not a efficient way. So Google created the Kubernetes. So what is the advantage? What is the disadvantages? I will tell you. No worries. Okay.
Okay, bro. Yeah. Sure.
So what you know, guys, as of now? Yeah, Docker Docker installation, Docker version, Docker info. So you will show the Docker info, Docker help, Docker login. Docker login is nothing but how we can push and pull the images to the Docker hub. We need a authentication. For that authentication, we need to log into the Docker login. Docker images. Images means what are the images we have? Docker images. It will list the Docker images. PS is nothing but a process state. So it will show the if it is a running or a stopped one, we can show it. Docker pull image is nothing but we can pull the image from the Docker hub by using Docker pull command. Docker run is nothing but we can run as a container. Image run as a container. We can use a Docker run. So Docker build is nothing but to build the image. I will tell you now what is Docker tag, how you can create the tag. Push. Push is nothing but how you can, whatever the Docker images you build, right? That Docker images will push it to the Docker hub. How you can push it? Docker push. Docker RM is nothing but to remove the images. Okay. Yeah, guys. So we'll continue from tomorrow. So tomorrow I will start from Docker file. What is a Docker file? I will show you one thing, guys. Yeah, here. So now, so we did something like what we learned how to pull the images, how to run as a containers, how to pull the image from the GitHub, sorry, uh, Docker Hub, right? So from tomorrow onwards, we will create the Docker file. So we will create a Docker file, right? Sir? So Docker image contains a base OS libraries as well as your application, right? So we will create our own Docker image with our application. I will show you tomorrow. Okay. So how you can create the Docker file? So with the Docker file, how you can build the Docker images? So from the Docker images, we can run the Docker container. We can run the Docker containers, guys. Okay, guys.
Yeah, yeah, understood.
Understood, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, Satish,
Bro.
you can
Yeah.
watch the yesterday's recording.
Yeah,
Then you
yeah,
will
that,
understand more.
yeah, sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah. Guys, understood? Ravish, Meghna. So Ravish, are you able to understand, right? Ravish, you there? Ravish, Meghna? Yes, you are on mute. Huh? Ravish, Meghna. Okay, guys. So we'll continue from tomorrow.
Okay, bro. Thank
Satish.
you. Thank you, bro. Sure. Thank
Hmm?
you.
Ravish, are you able to understand, right?
Ah, yes, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.